Right. Hopefully everything's working. Oh, hi, Asana. All right. Let's just actually get into the review now. It's still the stream open. All right. Reese map was Ilios. Okay. So both teams CPL as a standard. We're starting off on a Zarya mirror. Like I said in my last stream, we run Zarya comps because it's really the only thing we've practiced, and it's what we're most comfortable on as a team. We tried running Hog and the Wurmpree for this just to experiment, but we didn't really feel like it ended up working out well, and we just decided to stick with this area. They're running the Reaper Zarya comp, so that gives them a lot more frontline pressure, means that you focus Reaper a lot more, but it also opens up their angles so we can let our flankers take a lot more space, i.e. Skyward on Genji. And it means I don't have to support him as hard. We take Cage as a standard. You can probably, if you wanted to, you could force a point when it elects, but Cage is just good angles for first sight, just good angles in general. And the map control you get off it is really good if you're able to force the enemy team back. So we immediately get forced back. Let's see what this is. It's really hard to find an angle where you can see everything happening in Cage. I'm gonna shift this to 10 seconds. All right. So first off, I don't really like the angle Y is taking. I don't think spamming down main gives you as much value as you would get if you just played any sort of off angle. And where is Skyward? Skyward's late. But both teams are going to be late, but since they're running Reaper, they're going to be slightly faster. They used the bubble aggress, we used the bubble. Wait, what forces this back so hard makes us so scared? Is it just the slow? Actually, it's not even us getting forced back. It's just it's just peeling back because we want to play this joke. By pushing back right here, we're making them push into us, and if they push through this choke, it favors us because they're obviously pushing through a choke. Still would like to see us playing less stack though. Scar takes nothing, which is good. We rotate main and grab a different angle, and because they're still stabbing Cage, we're able to take all these angles around them, and we're able to hold them in a choke, which massively favors us. I think Abdallah will die. Abdallah probably doesn't have any bubbles. Yeah, Abdallah has one bubble, and does a very overly long wraparound, and I don't know what Abdallah is doing here. He just goes left, takes a very long rotation, doesn't shoot the two squishies in front of him, instead focuses our tank, which isn't going to die. And because he's basically 1v5 right now, we're just able to kill and farm. It's a free pick. And now they're down, they're taken. We're just able to get clean kills. So Abdallah had bad positioning, bad target priority, and just got punished. And that's how we won the fight. I'd like to see Mason beat Rocket jumping up to high ground here in this area, just so we have the option of holding high ground if we want to. Because if they did go high ground here, we would have to give it up for free, and they would gain a lot of space off it. But because they're going bottom right for some reason, we're one able to get a lot of spam on them as they're walking up, and two, we're able to hold this high ground. Their Genji and Sojourn aren't actually able to get any space because we can just control the high ground. How does Mason need so much damage? Oh, Mason just overcommits in positions badly. So Mason completely wastes one bubble just standing in the slow. He gets charge off it, but it's not worth it in my opinion. And then, even though he only has one bubble, he's pushing in, which is going to get him his second bubble force, or because he doesn't use his second bubble, he's already half HP. And because of that, he just gets punished. So Mason dies because of poor bubble usage. But the enemy team is also able to get a lot of pressure onto us because Scar isn't really doing anything in this fight. He's just right-clicking from too far away to be any real threat, so they're just able to ignore him and look at Mason. Like, the Lucio looks at him, but that's literally it. And Wyatt on Sojourn is still just playing incredibly stacked without any real off angle. And he already wasted his slow, so because of that, he's not really having a real threat presence either. He's just slow, so he doesn't have for the fight, so they're just able to walk on Mason. And he spends half the team fight shooting Lucio. So the big mistake is Mason wasted his bubbles, but some mistake that could have been a band-aid for some of that is we're just not establishing enough pressure as a team. And so they get a pick and we die. Alright. Now they have Fox Overclock Grav. They're going to build Beat mid fight. We have Fox Grav. We have all of our arts except Beat, which we're going to get mid fight. So the ideal way to play this, since teams are so trigger happy at this level, is to have them use Fox and then just kite it, and then we can re-engage with our own Fox at all advantage. And we should just win the fight. We clear the Mathai. I think this Fox in here is fine. Ideally, I think it would have been better to probably. No, with how much alts we have. Problem with Kind Fox is you're not really able to on this map. Because if you go from main, you're just spam from high grounds. You can take cage, I guess, and play from cage, and that's not bad, but also doesn't really do a ton for you because of all the reasons we talked about before that playing cage is bad. Or you can go from high ground and cross the point, but once you drop here, you just aren't able to kite your Chiao in the open. And they just punish our Fox with the grab because we haven't built B yet. Ideally, we probably should have been able to survive the grab. Yeah, they just had a really good graph. Ideally, we probably could have been playing slightly more split or tried to use a bit more beat, but it's not a big deal. They just had had a really good graph and we didn't have beat. But we do still have Fox, so this means one, White is able to get a good pick and able to trade up their Kiriko, and two, we're able to walk in with Fox on them since for some reason they're not using ults. And Abdel just gets ran over. What they needed to do is after the rev is over, they need to counter either back up and stabilize, or counter Fox with another ultimate. Either their own Fox or since Inspire's picked, you can do it with Overclock. Petals Overclock. But we recognize that those use both bubbles in his out position, and we just block it up with Fox. And he just gets persistent from overcommitting. Why does he have no bubbles up pre-fight? Huh. Yeah, so poor bubble usage once again gets Abdallah killed. And reading the tempo better and counter alting would have been able to patch that. Alright, Mason does take high ground this time. So they have Fox speed overclock. We can't kite their ults because if we do kite, we would have to back to point, and that's just giving the enemy team too much space. So if they Fox, we probably just beat engage and rush them. Ideally, we could also engage with Blade whenever Skyward gets it, force out beat, and then we can grab the win fight once they've used beat. Mason goes for a very early grab, which is greedy. Luckily, they stack their support outs for some reason. And we're also able to, luckily, get a kill on Abdallah through it. I don't like this. We use 3 ults just to win a team fight, and the only reason this ends up getting value is because they overcommitted with 2 support ults. If they only used beat, we would have been disadvantaged for next fight. But hey, works out. Oh, Skyward doesn't play, never mind. Just overclock grab. And that's fine. Abdullah dies so quickly. Did Abdullah have bubbles? So this was well executed on our part. We did get a 5-man grab, and we did combo with Overclock, so they just shouldn't be able to reasonably survive it. However, they're playing very stuck right here. Kashir's playing on top of his team instead of trying to take angles, either through cage, which probably would have been best, and pressure the squishies, or top right. But you can't play top right because it's already, so it would have been better to play through cage. And Petal is still coming back from spawn when they're pushing in. So they're pushing in a 4v5, and they all let themselves get caught in the grab when they know we have grab. And that's a big thing that loses this team fight. And I presume Abdullah is going to waste a bubble, and that's... Yeah, Abdullah uses a bubble, so Abdullah only has 1 bubble for a grab. The bubble dies instantly. We win the fight. The bubble dies before the beat even goes off, which is wild. Or Abdullah dies before the beat even goes off. So if they played better, they might have been able to survive, but also maybe not. Alright, so they actually do push top. I don't like how far back White is staged right here. Can't really do much participation in team fight. It's not bad, but I don't like it. You can't even hit a slow across this bridge from this range. Ideally, I would have liked White to play on high ground and then back up once they took space to this high ground. Or if White's that scared, he can just play low ground, still playing in range. But it doesn't really matter all that much. We're just kind of soft holding the space, trying to build out, form out, bait out resources. They blade in, and White just beams them. Let's take a look at this highlight, which is extremely lucky. Yeah, White just burns them. Scarred blades in when they don't have beat. When they're all standing in a small room and don't have beat. So we just want to fight off that. We don't fight because they weren't pressuring Scarred enough and let him get a free blade. And we're also playing in bad positions. So Petal slides into a wall and trying to kite. Unlucky. And Tin Spire also kites into another Desire. Unlucky. Why is their team so split here? So Abdal is just playing completely unsupported by his entire team and gets forced out as a result. Because no one drops with Abdallah, when Abdallah takes a kite path back, they're entirely split. And also, Kishore did get Hesh on Blade, but even if Kishore did succeed in Blade, that Blade shouldn't have gone value. It was extremely early. We still had all our cooldowns, and we were able to just focus Kishore for free. Even if Kishore didn't get headshot, which is unlucky, it would have been a bad Blade. And now they just wasted 2 ults, and we still have beat, and we're gonna get Fox fight. We do just win the map. Jukebox goes left for a touch. Oh, we beam him in the middle of it. Kishore tries to touch next. I boom him away. We win the map. Or we win the round. Alright. So, in summary, UTD so far has had really bad ult usage, bad positioning, and I think it's mostly just those. And just unlucky mechanical misplays. Whereas our ult usage in comparison has been really, really good, and our positioning hasn't been as good. But we won that fight off, or we won that round off of ult usage. So once again, played the same fight for Cage. They give up Cage immediately. And Scar does a real good job of pressuring Petal here. Since they're not a Reaper, I should be playing with him. I should be helping support Scarred so he doesn't take a fair 1v1 against Petal. And we should just win the 2v1. But Scarred does just win the Mechanics War, and then Hull finishes him off. So we get lucky. This is his dash. But yeah, Petal just gets beamed. So Abdallah get forced out so immediately. Alright, Abdallah just throws away 2 personals for no reason. And because that, we rush him with no bubbles. Yeah, not great on his part. Why didn't Petal get healed more? So first off, one or two, one there's a Genji diving into Sojourn. Your Lucio needs a peel for that, and Jukebox isn't, or it does so too late. Did Abdul need support? No, Abdul was fine there. It's still just poking. Yeah, so Jukebox didn't realize Petal was going to dove and should have supported him. And what is Tinspire doing? Ah, Petal's just out of LS. Okay. Alright, so we just Alvin camps in that fight. That was such a fast fight that neither team has anyone, so we just play neutral. Oh yeah, here's an important detail that she knows. Look at where the players are. The entirety of UTD is pushing through this left side, whereas Kesher is going through an angle on the right side. This means Kesher is split from his entire team, and he tries to take a 1v1 against Skyward. But me realizing that Kesher is split and we can just take a 2v1 here, pushes it and helps Skyward, and Kesher just gets beamed because he's out of position and supports aren't helping him. It's a mistake on both their parts. Kesher shouldn't have been there, and their supports should have been helping them. Or should have been helping him. Kesher should have walked the top right, where he still has the support of his team, and he can still take very strong angles. Or if his supports were with him, he could have pushed left side slowly. And now we just take a 5v4. Run over Abdallah. And now it's just clean up. Alright. So now we have Fox beat Grav, and they have close Fox, close Grav, semi-close beat. So we can actually just Fox and win this fight. So they do a right certification, and we are very late on seeing and recognizing it for some reason. So instead of realizing, hey, they're going right side and trying to stuff them with this Lord and spam at them, for some reason we try to flank around, which means that they're able to get this entire cross off for free without us spam them. They're able to push through this choke and this choke without us doing any damage to them, and we're just chasing them at this point. And we're using a ton of cooldowns just to chase them. This is a very bad team fight on our part. Scarred engages ahead of his entire team, gets beamed. Why doesn't he get a bubble? We don't have bubbles. So we freed a personal at 80 charge for no reason during the poke phase. So we don't have bubbles for Scar when he pushes in. Scar pushes in ahead of his entire team, and he dies. But we are pinstering them into a tiny location, and we still do have a Fox advantage. And we just grab them, they don't have beat, and we won the fight. So we played that fight absolutely terribly. Atrocious team fight from us, but we played the earlier fights well enough that we had an ult advantage and we were able to win. But it did cost us a lot more ults than we need to. We could have won that fight with just Fox, but we used 2 ults. And now they have an ult advantage. They have 5 ults, and we have 3. Really what we need to do is, because they have such a major ult advantage, and because we want to make this as a long team fight, we just kite their Fox, uh, touch point, and we can re-engage with our own ults. Probably Blade, Force Beat, and then I just beat their ults, and we just hope we have the better Sojourn and can pop up with Overclock. So this is bad on their part. They layer their Fox and Grav, so I'm able to just beat through both of them, and we just live. Okay, we don't live. We only have one bubble. That was good milk. Okay, maybe the thresholds do break there. Maybe you can't just Fox Grab and melt through beat. Alright. I didn't know that you could have. I didn't know Overclock Grab and Fox Grab burst through beat. Alright, then that was well played on their part. They were able to burst through a beat. They beat our Blade, which is fine. But that was a 3-out team fight for our 2 ults. And this puts us a bit more on even footing. We'll get Fox if the fight goes long, and we have Overclock. Now, let's see how we could have played that fight better, actually. Ideally, I don't get stuck in grab here, and they only get 1 kill off of these 2 ults. Yeah, I think that is how we win this fight. I misplay here by playing a bit too stacked on my Zarya when they have grab, and as a result, I get caught in grab. And instead of just being a 4v5 for them using 2 more ults than us, and hopefully we can force out more ults, it becomes a 3v5 and they've won the fight. Unlucky. We could have made that a much closer team fight. I just need to be better with my positioning. That, or I can also recognize that they stacked Fox and Grab, and I can just choose to not beat and take a try fight. And we're at 99%. Taking a try fight there was probably just the correct call, anyways. All right, this fight. They overclock early. They've overclocked. We should just be hard kiting it. Here. That's the first mistake. Second mistake, I don't like Mrs. positioning. I think he should be going top with us. That we were able to spam out these angles beforehand, and then once they're forced back, we can drop and take the space. Whereas here, we haven't taken space yet, so if they push up, Mason gets hard split from our entire team. I think Mason's going to die, and as a result, I push him, and I feed. I should have realized Mason wasn't going to die there and not trade my life for it. So, bad fight from us. They went using a single ultimate and built their other ults. But now we have Fox, now we have Urklock, we're close grab. Should be able to win this fight. Alright. So I called a focus to Genji since we don't have beat, and then we can drop in Fox into them. We focused the Genji because they have blade and we need to make sure he doesn't get a good blade off. That's how they win this fight. Unfortunately, none of us scout or hear the Genji that's right above us. So he's just able to blade in. And we all die. Unlucky. I did not know you could just stand there as Genji. And we used 2 ults that team fight, and didn't get anything for it. Also, I don't like stacking Oracle and Fox. If they can kite one of them, chances are they can probably kite both of them. They don't really synergize well in a way that Fox grab or grab Overclock does. Like, we're denying the same lanes here. The exact same lanes. This Overclock doesn't do anything for us. They've already kited out. And there's same denial of if they used beat to deny it, or if they just bladed us and killed us tonight, or if they just grabbed us tonight. It would have, all of their counters would have just countered both ults the exact same way. They're just too similar of ults to stack. All right, let's actually watch this fight. All right. So we have Grav. They have Grav as well. The team who grabs first here should just win, unless they play well and live grab, which they're playing well right here. They should be safe levels, and they're playing very slow, which is good. We do our same rotation through high ground. That's fine. Mason catches them off guard and lands a good grab. When Abdel was this far away from grab, he just needed to play farther back and do more spam damage to be able to grab, rather than letting himself get grabbed this far up. They just needed to take the fight slower and build up ults. And build up ults. But because they took the fight too fast while we were advantaged, we got lucky and they died at 99% of graph. Which let us win this fight. Right. So second round of Ilios, our play was kind of quite bad, but we got lucky at times, and we were able to out-gank some first fight, which basically let us win the map. All right, so they take us to King's Row, which is probably our worst map, but we do end up winning it, which is quite poggers. So right here, we actually see our DPS both taking angles. They're stuck in the same angle, which isn't great, but they both are trying to take angles, which is better than what we've seen before. And as a result, we're just able to deal so much pressure onto them that their Genji immediately has to use both his cooldowns back up. Abdullah is split by a slow, and Abdullah burns a lot of resources for that. No bubbles. And Skyward's on this wicked off angle. They push Skyward. Why aren't we able to capitalize off their attention? Skyward doesn't dash. Yeah, Scar deflects too late, just lets himself eat too much damage, and because Mason's standing in a slow, uh, he's not able to push off of Skyward's aggression, and I'm not able to support Skyward because I'm supporting him instead. Unlucky. Now we back up, reset. Here I call we're going to get Kiriko ult first, so we just farm Andy's ult and we push off it and we just win the fight. They actually do a really good job this fight of trying to play stuff for their grab. They just let themselves get caught out. Petal gets picked by White. Not good. Their Lucio is very far up. Their Genji is very far up. Why is their Genji so far up? Their Genji just takes a bad kite path. And they split. Yeah. When they need to give up the space and when they know we have Fox, they can't be playing this aggressively. And Abdullah should not ever be at 0 levels. And those misplays, playing too aggressively and wasting bubbles let us just Fox in for free and we get a kill. And we clean it up pretty handedly. So they have Grav, Fox, and Overclock. And they're going to build Beatman fight. We should not win this fight. The only way we win this fight is either we grab for this beat, but we probably think that we have beat, so we can't grab like that, or we just get a lucky pick. They waste no whatever. If they Fox, we need to kite it, and if they grab, we just lose. But hopefully we play split enough where they can't get a clean grab off. They should only get one person in their grab. If they get any more, we've messed up. We try to cut it through the tiny choke. Because we staged too early when they're so early. Actually, I wouldn't even call it a stagey problem. I mean, they just have grab and we don't really have any out to it. And we just die. This was a bad grab. We should not be able to consistently get picks off of this grab, no matter how good it is with how much space they have and how much of an advantage we're at. We're grabbed, and we're behind a choke. The only way we get these picks is because of sheer luck, and Scar should trade his life for it. They also Fox, which is bad, because I mean, like, what was this Fox trying to do? They were grabbing when we didn't have beat. Did they think we had beat? I am 50% off beat. If They think we have beat this early on without looking at the scoreboard. They are insane. Oh, they were trying to fox load the graph. I think that's fair. I think. I mean, you don't expect them to grab at the best times, but I mean, you don't whiff your milk on yourself, and Abdullah shouldn't have used so many bubbles to punish you. Yeah, Abdullah doesn't even try to bubble the team's grab. That's awkward. I still think that grab would have been better used to actually win a fight because they Mason grabbed, or I think our grab should have been better used, better saved and used to actually win a fight because now that we grabbed, one, we're down on ultimate, and this these picks they do stuff for us. We were able to put regroup push through the choke with spawn advantage. That gives us the choke for free, but they're able to just back up and regroup. It doesn't actually let us win a fight or get us significant enough cart distance to warrant it. And now they have Overclock Blade, or now we have Overclock Blade, and they have 3 ults. We should not win this fight unless they massively mess up their beat. They have beat advantage. Whereas imagine if we still had to grab the force beat, then we're at a massive ult advantage with our own beat. I call to play slow here until we build up beat, because that's the only way we're really winning this fight when they have blade. Focus their Genji when he tries to go for a blade, or if they Orcock, we just kite it. They Orcock, we kite it. Our kite path is not good. Our kite paths are consistently bad. When you kite like this, you have to kite through this choke. Or else you can just get stuck in a choke stat or library and get picked if you try to kite through library. You need to kite through main. And this is something we consistently did here, and it's something we consistently got punished for. Scarred also overextends. One, causes Mason's bubble so he can't actually get out, and two, causes his own life to get picked. We should have been more prepared for their ult clock to kite it because teams at this level are very trigger happy with their ults. You don't need a force ult. People will just use them. Trust me. The Scar just gets beamed. I mean, yeah, Scar just unnecessarily overextends when he doesn't have to and treats his life for it. Because he's trying to help his teammates get out. But promise, we're basically already out. Or as much out as we can be. Yeah, because we get a very sloppy kite off, they win the fight. When they shouldn't have. And because our kite was so sloppy, they were able to build up their own. They're already 80% to another graph. So, they have Blade Beat Graph. We have Blade Beat Fox Overclock. We can beat their graph. We can use Blade to force out their own beat. And we just need to initiate with... We just need to initiate with Overclock or Fox. And how to get that. Doesn't really matter which. We call to Overclock, engage with Fox in this fight. We overclock very early, so they just kite it. Bad overclock from our part. Good outcome wise, bad execution because we were overclocked too early. Like, they've already given us up choke, given up choke in this entire corner. We don't need ult. Don't need ult when either Zarya is in beam range. And so they just kind of live it. Now we have Fox, though, so we're still at advantage, so we can push off this. We combo Fox and Blade. I'm personally not a big fan of this. I don't think Fox Blade can consistently burn through beat enough. I would rather Blade force beat, you just live, and then you Fox Ringage afterwards at advantage. Because to be frank, this Fox got no value. How does Petal die? Petal's half HP, not getting healed, and he stands in the middle. He stands in Genji dash range. He should realize, even with beat, he's this slow, and he should be kiting away in this direction. And his support should be healing him. I presume they're just in the cap team fight. Yeah, Kiriko's then healing him, and the Lucio probably just doesn't recognize he needs heals, which is fair. Unlucky. If Petal had kited better, he would have taken longer to take damage, and he would have been able to get healed by supports. They still have Blade, and might be got forced by grab. We need to keep focusing this Genji. We should be skirming in comms, Genji, 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 Genji. And that's what part of our team is doing. But during this entire time, Mason's also calling the Zarya, and so we get split, which is unfortunate because the Genji is just able to get free reign and kill our entire team. And at this point, we just lose the fight because we lose our Zarya. Alright. They're at Fox Overclock. We have Grav, that is it. They don't have beat. If we just engage first with Grav, we should be able to hopefully burn through it, even through Fox. Alright, they Fox early. We can just kite it. Why do we have such a sloppy kite? Mason's just ahead of his entire team. We got slowed, but Mason's still pushing up, so they're able to get a split off with Fox. Because I don't think Mason realized we all got slowed. Yeah, maybe he just thought this is Zarya right click or something. And so he just gets run on split completely and gets run over. Unlucky. Alright, so this fight, they have overclock grab. We have grab, that's it. We just need to kite their overclock when they use it, because if we trade grabs and they overclock in the middle of grab, we just lose. And then once they use it, we need to re-engage with our own grab, and hopefully just get a better grab off and live. Alright, so Petal gets picked. That's really, really bad on their part. I don't know why Petal is waiting so long to overclock. I also don't know why Petal has been playing in the middle of our entire team. Huh. That is an interesting play. So now that they're down Petal, this fight is winnable. We just need to play for trades. And so we grab their Lucio, kill their Lucio. They grab half our team. and kill half our team. We should have bubbles to live this crowd. Mason wastes his bubbles. And because of that, we get grabbed and we die. Andy also milks early. Ah, okay. Mason gets slow. That is understandable. So because Mason takes too much damage and wastes his bubbles, they get a real clean grab off and is able to kill Chu. But we're still at advantage because we got to grab that, got to pick, and we were able to kill Petal. So here's a significant disconnect. Mason is trying to run in and help our two dead teammates and trade out when they're low HP, whereas the rest of our team is trying to flip map and push card, and hopefully we get a lot of card space. Hopefully we are able to stabilize off of pushing card, and we get a lot of card space off before we either win the fight or we draw it out enough for us to get respawns. Neither play is bad. We just do split, and because of that, Mason isn't able to get a clean kite out. And we just get run over because we're not actually able to stabilize. Also, they just have the more valuable hero up. Kiriko is just a better character than Lucio. It's unlucky. And I don't build beat in time. I die 5% off beat. So they overclock from the flank, which we don't scout and we're completely not expecting. Unlucky. Skyward does try to blade pedal. Alright, this is a salty fight. We have 4 ults. They have Fox, Overclock, and then close their other ults. Really, the way you would want to play this here is you don't actually want to take a fight in this ally. This ally has really bad angles for your team, and so you just die if you can't either push past into this alleyway or kite out. And we're at an even fight, so we don't really just want to trade ults because that still just makes it an even fight. We want to try to get ourselves an advantage. And the way you do that is you force them to use an ult, and then you hard kite. And that way they waste an ult. We play too fast and push in. We don't scout pedal. We played unnecessarily when we're not set up for it because Pedal is just able to slide on the Kiter Blade. And we flex very aggressively. So they have used one ult and hard kited, and we've used 2 ults. They're focusing Mace instead of the Genji, which is definitely a mistake. If they focused Skyward better, they would have not needed to beat here. Not even thought they needed to beat here, which... and then they just won the fight that much harder. But luckily, because they misplay, we're able to go 2 for 2, but we still lose the fight because we did significantly misplay that fight. We have Overclock beat. They have Fox Blade. We just need to overclock in either Kite Overclock. Alright, not Kite Overclock. We either Kite Fox and re-engage with our Overclock, or we overclock in, hopefully we get a pick. And then if they Blade, I just beat and we push. Hopefully get a kill off of beat. They Fox in. Actually, we can't... Okay, This was actually a misplay, I'm afraid. It's 30 seconds off. This is less fight. We can't kite. We have to push in. We have to touch card. We have to force some space because of how far card is. We do not have time to kite because of our conf. If we had a chaser, we could have had our chaser touch and we could have kited. But with the way this is, we cannot kite. They fox in. I should have recognized we can't kite and just counterbeat this fox because we have to push into this and we would have been able to kill them. We probably might have not been able to kill the fox, but with the fox or with beat overclock, we should have been able to find kill. But I don't beat until very late because I think we're trying to kite it, and as a result, uh, we just lose. I beat late. That is a very big throw on my part. This fight. They blade in, Andy's out. They completely waste their blade. Petal loses the 1v1 to Skyward. Skyward lives. They grab. Hits only me. I'm able to stay alive with Milk and Bubble. Friends, I barely come back from spawn. And Bell dies. They were so split that entire team fight. Not a great team fight. We should not have won that. We should have lost this map. Must have been quite boomed after that. Okay. They have Lord Clock, close speed if the fight goes long. We have Fox, we just run in with Fox and we win the fight. We can grab mid fight if we need to. We Fox in. We're very split here. So we start off stacked. Scar takes a flank. Fox in. Adal overextends when we have Fox, gets split. Catcher overextends, dies. Tinspire needs to push in to help their teammates because they're overextending, dies. So we're not playing in Kiter Fox at all. Very bad team fight on their part. Maybe they were trying to make it a fast fight battle belts. I don't think it's worth it because we, one, get a build up more ups, and two, get a ton of cards, please. Off it. I start this fight 50 to beat. White starts it off 20% shield overclock. Because they take a bad fight here and feed, I get 25% off of 30% off of my beat, and White gets 20% off his overclock. Meanwhile, they are unable to get that many ultimates because they're dead. And we've turned this in the last fight because we won the previous fight. Mason goes for a very early grab where no one on our team is set up for it. This should not get heals, but it does. Unlucky. Why does it get heals? Do they have milk? Yes. Milk so early. Abdul has no levels. This bubble was not needed. It got no value. The second bubble was not needed. It got no value. Abdul wastes both bubbles, and that gives her grab value. White dashes in. Or, not White. Scar dashes in and I think loses the 1v1, but it's fine because it zones Petal long enough for us to win the team fight. And we full cap the map. With time. So that third point was very bad on their part. They're obviously mentally boomed. They all sucked the same goal against spawns, and they did not have any sort of plan for what ultimates we had and what we were trying to do. At least that's what I assume. I would assume they were boomed after uh, failing to stop us in last fight on second point. After basically winning the fight and then getting counterrolled. I would be boomed too. But yeah, not a great third point on their part. Not a great third point at all. Now, we're playing very far back because we think they have Widow, but we probably have called by that they have Widow by now. We shouldn't be playing this passive. White needs to be developing more angles on high ground, or at least grading harder on the single. And Skyward should not be playing on main like this. He needs to be either beaming on statue, taking this right angle, or trying to do split pressure on the top left. We are playing way too stacked. White does good. He takes an angle on the right side. He just gets rolled by Petal. Unlucky. Once again, Skyward and White are secondary angle. It's not good. We all kite a kite back because we lost one. We can't hold the space, and we should just be kiting back and playing, giving them ticks to re-engage. Well, White comes back. Sky pushes in when we're down one. Mason pushes in when we're down one. And we're still just taking a 4v5 when we don't have to. I trade out on the Genji. But Mason does die eventually. And once we lose our Zarya, we just lose. Zarya is the singular most important character in this team comp. And probably one of the most important characters in the game. Alright, so because we messed up the macro, we don't disengage when they get a pick. Instead, we hard aggress into a 4v5 with no ults. They kept first point. We're gonna get Fox around the same time. We should just kite their Fox and re-engage Throne at advantage. So 2 times speed. No. Alright. So they Fox in. We match it. I don't like matching it. I don't think it's worth matching here. By the time we match it, they've already pushed through choke, so most of the advantages of getting through choke are lost. I prefer if we just kite it and hold them on this corner. Or even on this corner and win the fight. However, I might have called Shu match in the fight plan, and it that might have been my bad. But matching isn't the worst thing. We're still on an initial fight. We can still try to win off the mechanics. And we do. Skyward just beams Petal. Does Petal die with Slide Up? Oh yeah. Petal just reacts late to the Genji in the chaotic fight. And their Lucio is not marking the Genji as hard as he needs to be. Okay, this is a very scuff fight. So this fight goes long enough that they could grab. Three people will get stuck in this grab. We're able to trade out, but it's rough. And we do win the fight, but because they got so many picks, we can't hold this space. And so we have to back. You have beat grab blade overclock. They have beat blade overclock. We just need a blade, force beat, and grab engage, and we just get a free fight win. And this is what I call in the fight plan. We blade them, perfect. We bubble skyward. They force beat. We just need to live until beat is over. However, we rush our grab, and as a result, they're able to beat both of the ultimates, the grab and the blade, with the same beat. By the time we grab, they're like they still have 80-90% of their beat left. The grab is just way too early, way too rushed. And Pedal recognizes the fight is still winnable and overclocks, beams skyward. Skyward coming down the grab is fine. It's just, yeah. Skyward chooses his life for jukebox. Unlucky. We stabilize, just try to live their overclock. Okay. I remember what happened in this fight. They are all corralled into a tiny corner here. Okay. First off, the reason I beat. The reason I beat is because my team was calling it, and we wanted to beat engage while they were all corralled into a tiny corridor at positional disadvantage, so we could win the fight. However, I believe there is a world where we don't even need a win beat in this fight. We have positional advantage. We should be able to just win on the neutral, unless we massively mess up just by waiting out overclock and then re-engaging, because we have so much space, and we're close to overclock. I don't think we need to rush and engage like this. I think there's a world where we win this fight without beating, and because we got our beat force, we let ourselves get our beat force this fight. They should be able to win next fight with blade. Additionally, we're on defense. By not beating, we're dragging out the fight. So, and when winning a fight at 15 seconds is way worse than winning a fight that takes a minute and a half. So I just don't think beat was needed here. And even though we win the fight, I think it's still a misplay. I see their reasoning, but I disagree with the call from my teammates. I'm pretty sure it was Andy specifically who called it. So now they have Blade, and we have nothing. We just need a hard kite their Blade and focus their Genji. If we want to engage with Overclock and focus Genji, that's perfectly fine. We just can't let their Genji get the space to Blade. This is what we do. We Overclock. We should be running in. We should be focusing their Genji. They're able to kite out. Uh, the Overclock wasn't early. This is fine. We just aren't ready for it. White needed to communicate that he was overclocking a lot earlier, so we didn't spend first 3 seconds of overclock just standing there being like, "Oh wait, we want to actually engage now," when we were previously preparing to kite, and they're able to just kite out of it. They played in. We used both our bubbles. We used our amp, and we used our. Oh, do we still have these golems up? Huh. Point is, we were very pushed up, and we used both of our bubbles in trying to push up our overclock, and now they should just be able to get a blade off for free, and we lose the fight. Once again, you see the consistent trend of us being fairly desynced in the fight. Now we have Foxgrav, and they have their own Foxgrav. Uh, Ideally, we would want to kite their Fox so then re-engage with our own. Um, but because of where card is up, we can't actually effectively kite, or else they're just going to push in Cap, or they have to push in Fox anyways. So it's better to just match Fox and play split so we don't get grabbed. We don't actually play split, that split, i.e. I don't actually play that split, and I get caught in the grab. Misplay from my part. We see a pervasive, consistent problem of me playing way too stacked on my Zarya when they have grab, and I get caught in it. How do we just win when they have Fox grab up, and all we have is Fox? What? I get grabbed. I should get bursted here. I do get bursted here. Okay. Their Kiriko is very overextended. This Fox is early. I don't like this Fox. She walks in and stands in melee range of her area, so she gets her milk forced. And then she TPs into the front line of the team. Yeah, so their Kiriko is mispositioned on the front line, and she gets beamed. Abdullah dies because Abdullah is overextending on me, when really all Abdullah needs to do is just stand back here, shoot, beam me, and as a result, he uses both his bubbles, gets low, and we beam him. So they, so we just out mechanics them in this team fight, or out micro them. We have Blade Grav, they have Overclock, we just need to run in with Grav and we win. That's simple. Grab them. We kill them. Easy dub. They messed up the last fight so hard that they have an alt advantage. They do this weird rotation through left side where they get stuff through choke, and they stack cards so we get a free grab off. Not a great team fight on their part. I don't know what they were trying to do. If they're trying to full map, that was a bad call. He staggers himself. I taxi back. Alright, we have Beat Blade. They have Beat Overclock. If they ult early, we just kind of live. But we actually aren't able to hold early here. So if they ult, we just have to counter beat and hard engage. And hopefully our counter beat is able to force their beat, and then once their beat is over, Scour can blade. I don't know if that actually was the ult plan here, but no, Scar just blades to overclock. We kill them. Scar overextends with his blade. You don't need more than one kill, and he dies for it. Oh, this is unlucky. So, there being a, I called it just trade kite out, because we reasonably should not should be able to kite it here. Or I think we can. Okay, not we reasonably should be able to kite here. We reasonably should be able to kite here. I don't have amp, but I think we can still kite it here. We take a bad kite path, and they also just have amp, I believe. No, they don't have amp. All right, we just take a bad kite path. They run onto us. I think I can squeeze beat. Or by the time I realize we need beat, I use it. I try to squeeze it a bit. But Mason takes like 300 damage during my beat cast time. What does he take damage to? Does he just get engaged on by everybody? I thought he got railed. Not too far. Yeah, the Genji just stashes into him, and Mason gets front. It might be cast time. Unlucky, my bad. I should have realized earlier that we wouldn't actually be able to kite, and I should have beat it earlier. We are now in the worst case scenario where I am counterbeating a 3v5, and they kept point, and they should win the subsequent fights. They grab air in a 4v3? No, it's not even a 4v3. Oh, it's a 3v2. Okay, so we do a very good job of trading out. They should not grab here. It is a bad grab. It is an awfully atrocious grab. But I can see why they're scared in this middle of a match and nerfs happen. Important to note, though. So, because of that, we should not be on an advantage, I believe. We have Fox overclock, they have Fox played. Okay, we're actually not an advantage, but we overclock in. And we get a kill. And we get a ton of space off of it. And we win a fight. No. They have they fully built their Fox Blade, and we just have Fox and we're going to grab and fight. Our win con here is we need to build grab, so we should just be very prepared to kite the routes, and we need to focus the Genji. We should be playing or this aggressively. Scour over positions which you aggressively gets picked. He should not be hiding here. The fight plan is to kite. We do not want to engage them with this all advantage, or with the all advantage they have. Sky feeds. We counter Fox. This is reasonable Fox from Andy. It's bad that we needed it because we should just be able to kite, but where we were positioned, we were unable to kite, and so the Fox is fine. We're able to kill Petal somehow. And we do end up building our graph, and we were just able to use clean up the fight. I want to watch why we were so far up. It was probably safe scoured, but our position here was more or less fine. Mason did overstep slightly, but it was more so a mistake on Skyward's part. And so, now they have Blade, overclock, close overclock, close speed, and we don't have anything. So we have two options as between what they want to do. We can either engage first, make it a fast fight, so they don't get a lot of card progress, or we can make it so chaotic that we just win the fight. Which we probably, if we're going to take a fast fight, we probably want to take it right here to catch him off guard. And I probably should have called for that, but my plans aren't always the best. Something I haven't been doing. I haven't been doing very well as of late, as I have been calling enough early engages when we need them. Alternatively, we can, since I'm 70% upbeat at this point, we can play very slow for beat and use that to counter the ults. My team wants to play first. I think. Oh, no, my team decides to play slow. Except, once again, Scar's mispositioned for the tempo we're playing. Our entire team is clearly trying to play slow here and just poke for a while, whereas Skyward is off on an angle, so when they ult, he's just going to get split, and he's going to get forced out immediately, because we can't hold the space. They blade in. We have a sloppy kite. How does White die? White wastes his shift. When does White waste his shift? I don't know. He just gets scared. It's because of that they're able to get a kill off of their blade. I feed. I try to boot their Genji during his blade, and I get you close and mess up. Okay, I do boot him. I just get railed and give him dash reset. Unlucky. I should just play life during these blades. Alright, they have overclock, grab, beat. It is desperately important I get beat in time here. Okay, so this is something very tragic that happens in his team that actually throws the point. White calls he's going to go push left side. This is reasonable. He wants to get an off angle for when push out. However, Mason interprets this as a call to push with him left side and that we're all going left side, when this is just bad because, one, it causes us to split very, very hard. So they just get the freest god of their lives, and we just aren't able to take a T fight. And two, this gives Mason worse angles because he doesn't have any cover to play with. He's just in wide open space. Unlucky. At this point, we're hella split. Andy TP's lower, but I can't make this cross. Mason intuits that he is letting Sheldon open way too far in the open, tries to cross the right side. But because he went out the wrong door, he has to do this mile-long cross and just gets overclocked in the middle of it. Good overclock from Petal. Unlucky team fight. And now they just have an ult advantage, and it's a 3v5 and we just lose. We do get a chill too, though. Second advantage, poggers. Alright. So again, I don't like where DPS are playing. White's trying to have commit to both sides, but I think we just have one DPS on one side and the other DPS on the other side. So since Guard looks like he's trying to push right side, we just have White play a slightly greedier angle on this left side. Because it gives him more sightlines. Right here, you can't see the Kiriko. Right here, when he's actually committing, he can't see the Kiriko. Nitpick, but is important for these neutral fights. How does Petal die? Petal just gets run on. Right, so they aren't denying their angles before pushing on. They're just trying to walk through our kill box when we have all these angles done. Very, very good position from Andy's part. They just need people contesting Andy right here, force him out. Or just at least spamming him. Shift is fine on Pelt's part. He then gets walked on. Because Abdallah is completely split from me, looking in the opposite direction. And it doesn't save Petal. Unlucky. And so we just win this fight. So, they all push hotel. Catcher just 1v5 dashes into us, so we just all push him in hotel. And it is very unlucky he doesn't die. But watch this play. I hear Petal on the side of the wall chasing Skyward. I know he's going to be chasing into this hotel, so I just sit here and look at him. And I'm actually able to get him 20 HP and force him out. I'm very sad I didn't get the kill because I messed with the mechanics, but that was a really nice play for me on my part. Abdullah walks through the middle of the open with no bubbles, and White just beams him. Like, he's 200 HP with no bubbles. You can't be aggressing on this. Yeah, and so White just farms him and beams him, and he just feeds. We're able to get a nice crossfire off, and we just win this fight. So now, all we need to do is get a tick. Scar decides to start on Widow. Finds her. Why do I aggress so heavily here? I have to have seen their Zarya use both their bubbles. Okay, so somewhere else communicated that the Zarya had no bubbles. So I boop her into our team so we can farm her. I end up getting bubbled. That's not great, but oh well. Why doesn't Abdul take more damage? Are we able to walk on Abdul harder? Oh, both our DPS are disengaging during this time. Alright, that's unfortunate. We set up a nice crossfire. Their DPS aren't pressuring these angles enough. Alright, so the DPS do push this angle and get white out. White should have gotten support there, either by me or just by anyone, actually. What am I looking at? I just don't see this the Genji on white. Unlucky. So he gets forced out and we lose a lot of space. Alright, this is a very big brain call on Andy's part. He realizes we only need to get tick. They have to touch point immediately. If I just Fox on a point, they have to push into our Fox and we just win the fight. And they, yeah. However, even though this is a really, really good call from Andy's part, I'm not expecting it. I'm still expecting us to re-engage right side, and as a result, I get split. Probably would have been safer for me to just try to wall on the left side statue and not go for the boop, but oh well. Yeah, I get split. I feed, I die. Unlucky. Just walk on Mandela because he has no levels, and he has to walk into your Fox. they all die. However, there's a lot of individualistic highlight reels in this fight. Petal zones skyward. Beams Mason. Gets his ult off Mason. Beams me when I trick contest him. Beams fly in midair. And then we can watch Andy this fight now. Beams Petal. Gets the Gidget half, and then trades his life for it. And now we are in our 1v1 Weebly duel on point for the map win. If Skyward dies here, we lose the map. Luckily, they trade out their dashes in classic anime format, and Skyward wins, and we take the series. That was a hell of a way to end that map, as because of how insanely close it was. So, in terms of journalistics, there were a lot of moments where Utah was just generally very discoordinated. Uh, and it wasn't really easy stuff to plan around. It was just unlucky that we were on different pages in mid-fight, in the very chaotic mid-fights. Our alt usage and alt plans could have been a lot better, and our micro could have been a lot better. In particular, we didn't really take enough angles, and we wasted a lot of bubbles. I also spent a lot of time getting caught in Sariographs. In terms of UTD's part, they did get out micro at that point, or yeah, out micro at points, and their macro was generally very, very rough. Especially on third point, where they just ran into a fights at disadvantage and just didn't try to kite. Uh, and that just gave us massive advantages. So, that's how we beat a team with a contenders player, or a former contenders player, and a tier 3 player. Hope that was enjoyable. I hope I get to play against some more close and fun matches in the playoff series. Pretty sure we go against GCU again, which I voted on Friday. And then after that, we go against Fisher. And those should be fun matches.